Imagine going about your day totally unaware that you're being filmed. How would you react? Would you laugh it off, or would you want to disappear forever? From the spring break mishap that almost turned into a robbery to the bizarre licking mom, what would you do if you were caught in these crazy situations? 1. Candy crash. Aisle hopping gone wrong. A guy's casually walking around the supermarket, eyeing that chained-off aisle like it's his own personal hurdle challenge. He's feeling a little too confident and decides, why not? So he goes for it, attempting a smooth, cool guy leap right over the chain. Sounds simple, right? Well, spoiler alert, it wasn't. Mid-jump, he loses his footing, and it's like watching a slow-motion train wreck. He gets tangled in the chain, stumbles, and before he can save himself, he crashes straight into a towering candy display. It topples like a sugary avalanche, raining down on him in a storm of colorful wrappers and chocolate bars. The whole display ends up on top of him, and he's flat on the floor under a pile of candy chaos. Enter the concerned shopper. One brave soul rushes over, quickly joined by another, both trying to save him from his sticky situation. They lift the display off him, piece by piece, probably wondering if this was some sort of hidden camera prank themselves. And the guy, mortified. He scrambles to his feet, trying to play it off, but looking like he wants the ground to swallow him whole. Without a word, he makes a swift exit, leaving behind a candy-coated mess. Now, it's not just a funny fail, it's a nightmare for the store employees who have to clean up the wreckage. Picture them spending the next few hours reorganizing rows and rows of scattered candy bars and wrappers. What a way to ruin someone's workday. If you want to see more of these moments, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.
Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
2. The spring break smackdown. 3 cousins were just chilling at a Florida gas station, casually filling up their tank when a masked man suddenly appeared, gun in hand, ready to make them his next victims. What he didn't expect was that these spring breakers weren't about to go down without a fight. The confrontation escalated fast. The robber cornered them between the gas pump and their car, trying to block any escape, but one cousin wasn't having it. With zero hesitation, he lunged for the gun, but things got messy. The robber overpowered him, throwing him to the ground. That's when cousin number 2 jumped into action, grabbing the masked man from behind. This unexpected move gave his cousin enough time to get back on his feet, and now it was 2 against 1. Suddenly, backup arrived. Another cousin hopped out of the car to help. Together, they managed to wrestle the masked man to the ground. Meanwhile, one cousin opted to stay out of the chaos, preferring to be a spectator to the unfolding drama. Just as it seemed they had the situation under control, a shirtless accomplice ran up and tried to break up the brawl. He shoved one of the cousins off the robber, but the cousins refused to back down. In the chaos, the cousin who jumped out of the car spotted his chance. He swooped in, snatching the gun right out of the robber's hand. Suddenly, the power dynamic flipped. The second robber didn't stick around long. When he saw his partner now facing down the business end of a gun, and with impressive form, might I add, he knew it was game over. They both scrambled back to their cars and fled the scene, leaving the victorious cousins standing their ground. Looks like spring break had a little extra adrenaline this year. 3. Caught in the act. This story is a wild one. A family, feeling like something just wasn't right, set up hidden cameras in their home to keep an eye on their elderly mother's carer. The footage they captured was as shocking as it gets. The carer was seen smacking their mother a few times, pulling her blanket off and adding insult to injury, saying, "God, you stink!" The audacity.
"God, you stink!"
Once they had the evidence, one of the children decided it was time to confront the carer. Calm but direct, they told her, "You've got to go. We've got cameras up in here, and we caught all of that." What's wild is that they even apologized as they were kicking her out. Talk about grace under pressure. And the carer, she didn't even flinch. It was like getting caught on tape was no big deal, which says a lot. All right, let's take a breather from all the craziness and dive into some hidden camera pranks that are pure comedy gold. From unexpected laughs to downright ridiculous moments, it's time to lighten up and have some fun. 4. A nun's awkward request. In Series 1 of The Fear, there's one nun who's not exactly following the rules. standing just outside a shop known for its more adult merchandise. She's on a rather surprising mission. The catch, she can't go inside. So she stops a random passerby on the street and asks if he'd be willing to help her out by buying the cheapest intimate toy he can find. And guess what? He actually agrees. This unsuspecting Good Samaritan heads into Miss Fantasia and returns with exactly what she requested. But the nun's got more in mind. Right there on the street, she opens the package, inspects it, and then turns to him with a new ask. Can you go back in and get a bigger black one? He's baffled, but he goes along with it, though you can tell his patience is wearing thin. After another trip inside and a few confused looks, he comes back, now visibly over it. He's not about to make a third trip, no matter what she says. Then, just as his frustration peaks, the nun reveals the truth. He's been caught in the middle of a hidden camera prank. His reaction? A mix of disbelief, relief, and you've got to be kidding me. 5. The Panty Thief. Imagine you're casually browsing in a clothing store when a staff member asks you to keep an eye on the undergarments section for just a minute. Harmless enough, right? But things are about to get weird. As soon as you've agreed, a woman strolls up to the underwear rack, picking out different pieces and holding them up to see if they fit. It seems innocent at first, until she locks eyes with you, almost as if she's daring you to look away. And then, out of nowhere, a stern-looking security guard arrives and confronts her, insisting she empty her pockets. That's when things get strange. She starts pulling underwear out of her pockets, only to reveal they weren't just in her pockets. One by one, she begins to take them off, right there in the middle of the store. She removes 3, 4, who knows how many, while the security guard looks like he can't believe what he's seeing. But the real victims here? The poor customers watching this strange scene, who are left totally mortified. Just as everyone's jaws are hitting the floor, the security guard finally steps in to calm the chaos and let everyone in on the secret. They're part of a hidden camera prank. 6. Wedding Day Vanishing Act. This one starts off with a woman handing off her young son to a couple of kind strangers, asking them to keep an eye on him while she makes a quick trip to the porta potty. Seems like no big deal, right? But just as she steps away, a newlywed couple appears, posing for their wedding photos nearby. That's when things get sneaky, literally. The little boy darts off and disappears under the bride's flowing wedding dress. But here's the twist. He's not just under the fabric, he's hiding in a manhole right beneath where she's standing. The bystanders, now in full-on panic, kid pops back up with a cheeky grin, revealing he's been hiding in the manhole the whole time. The relief is instant, and everyone bursts out laughing, finally in on the joke, heart attack, before turning it into a wedding day memory they'll never forget. 7. No napkin, no problem. This one's a head-scratcher right from the start, but that's what makes it hilarious. Picture it. A young boy's sitting on a bench, happily devouring an ice cream cone, when unsuspecting strangers take a seat next to him. He's got ice cream all over his face, typical kid stuff, when suddenly a woman strolls up to them. Is she his mom? A random Good Samaritan? Who knows? But she's about to take cleaning up to a whole new level. Seeing the mess on his face, she offers to wipe it off. But here's the catch. She doesn't have any napkins, so she does the unthinkable. She starts licking the ice cream off his face. Yep, you heard that right. The poor strangers sitting on the bench can't believe their eyes. Confusion quickly turns to utter disgust as they watch this bizarre cleanup technique unfold. Meanwhile, the kid plays his part to perfection. He's visibly uncomfortable, cringing as if he's genuinely grossed out by the whole situation. And honestly, who wouldn't be? Whether he's just a great actor or really feeling the ick, he nails the performance, making the prank even more unforgettable. Safe to say, everyone involved needed a minute to process what just went down. 8. When a porta potty turns into a power meeting. Here's one that'll make you rethink your next porta potty break. The prank kicks off with unsuspecting folks just doing their business in a porta potty, totally unaware of the chaos brewing outside. As they're inside, a whole crew of pranksters sets up a full-on boardroom meeting right next to the porta potty. Yep, you heard that right. A legit meeting complete with chairs, a table, and everything you'd expect in a corporate setting. So when the unsuspecting victims exit the bathroom, they're hit with a total surprise. They've just walked straight into the middle of a serious business meeting. The pranksters, clearly thrown off by the interruption, act like it's no big deal, but make it pretty clear they're not happy about the disruption. The poor victims, flustered and unsure of what to do, end up retreating back into the porta potty to avoid causing any more trouble. Honestly, can't blame them. Who wants to be that person who ruins a meeting like that? 9. From sunbather to sister. This woman in a bikini strolls up to random people in the park and asks if they'll hold up a towel for her so she can change into her clothes. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, here's the twist. She's doing this completely in the open. So, while these unsuspecting folks are holding the towel to cover her from one side, the other side is fully exposed for the world to see. But wait, there's more. She goes full-on performance mode, pretending to take off her bikini and putting it over the towel to show the crowd she's changing. Only, when she's done, she's not in the outfit they were expecting. Nope, out comes a full nun's habit. The onlookers are completely baffled. They've just helped someone change, only for her to walk away as a nun. As she walks off, the confused looks are priceless, and you can tell they're questioning everything they just witnessed. Maybe they're realizing, hey, even nuns can have a little fun. 10. The little girl who could. This one's got confusion written all over it. It starts with a little girl who's rocking a fake pregnancy bump. But don't tell anyone, it's a secret. She's casually walking through the park when she suddenly stops, clutching her stomach and asking strangers for help. Apparently, she's having contractions. Cue the confusion. Random people are totally caught off guard, trying to figure out how this little kid could possibly be pregnant. The plot thickens when her ride arrives. A little partner rolls up in a car to pick her up. But, plot twist, this isn't just any car. It's a dummy vehicle, with an adult actually controlling the steering wheel from behind the scenes. The onlookers are left totally bewildered as the girl hops in, ready to drive away. Some of the women even get so caught up in the moment that they try to stop the boy from taking her off. Safe to say, these strangers didn't know what hit them. 11. Atlas versus Baby. Here's the deal. No real baby, no real crying, just a clever prank in the works. It starts with a woman, seemingly lost, trying to figure out where she's at, while her baby, which is actually a speaker, keeps crying uncontrollably. As she's asking passersby for directions, she steps away from the stroller, parked right in front of the Atlas statue. Enter Atlas, a man in full body paint, who's just trying to enjoy his statue moment, but the constant baby wailing gets to him. In a moment of frustration, he accidentally drops the giant boulder on the stroller, causing a complete freakout. And in the most shocking twist, Atlas casually slips back into statue mode, giving everyone the impression that he's just a solid piece of stone. The screams are real though, unlike the baby's cries. People are completely freaked out, with one man even picking up the boulder to check if the baby's okay. 12. Beach ball or big bite. This one starts innocently enough. A woman asks a couple of people hanging out on the pier to jump in and grab her beach ball. And of course, these friendly folks don't hesitate. They dive straight into the water to help. But as soon as they jump in, the woman disappears, and that's when the fun begins. Out of nowhere, an orchestra trio shows up, launching into the iconic Jaws theme song, setting the stage for something way bigger than just a beach ball. The prankies are confused, nervous, and definitely wondering what's going on, especially as one of the musicians dramatically mimes the approach of a shark. It's the ultimate tension builder. Then, just when they think things can't get weirder, a little fin pops up out of the water, following them as they tread water. Talk about heart-stopping. Hopefully they weren't traumatized for life and ended up laughing it off once the prank was revealed. But in the moment, yeah, they were probably wondering if they'd just had the scare of their lives. 13. Lipstick trouble. Sometimes things aren't always as they seem, especially when it comes to shopping for a new shirt. But in this case, things are definitely not what they seem. One of the salesgirls is about to pull off a prank. She slicks lipstick onto her hands, and while she's measuring the guy for a shirt, she leaves a little red mark on his neck as part of her routine. A guy walks into a store, just trying to find a fresh new look. His wife or girlfriend is with him, casually browsing nearby. Everything seems normal until, bam, there's a suspicious red lipstick mark on his neck. Now, we all know how fast things can go south when that happens. The woman immediately jumps to conclusions. The poor guy's trying to explain himself, and suddenly, it's a full-blown crisis. But just when you think it couldn't get worse, it does. Here comes the twist. Out steps a sexy woman from the fitting room, flashing a look that screams, "I know exactly what's going on." The situation spirals out of control, and the guy's caught in a mess, with his partner convinced he's been up to something shady. But what the girlfriend doesn't know is that the mirror is actually a secret entrance to the fitting room, and the whole thing was set up as a prank. The lipstick mark, all part of the plan. 14. The puddle panic. This prank starts off looking totally innocent. A mom asks a few random strangers to keep an eye on her kid while she runs to the porta potty. But these strangers have no idea what's coming. While the mom's away, the little kid starts doing what any child with rain boots would do, jumping in puddles. Everything seems cute and harmless until the kid makes a big splash into a fake puddle. The strangers panic, convinced the child is in trouble, and rush to help him, only to be met with the reality of a perfectly dry kid and a well-executed prank. Just as the tension peaks, the mom comes out and plays the role of the concerned parent. But once the strangers are fully freaked out, she lets them in on the joke. It was all a prank, and everyone can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Well, except for the poor prankies who got caught up in the drama. 15. Wedding day chaos. A beautiful wedding portrait is in the works. Everyone's smiling, and it's the picture-perfect moment, until one of the men accidentally sets off the streamer gun. Suddenly, a streamer flies right into the bride's eye. In her attempt to clear it out, the poor girl loses her balance and falls off the railing. It's a scene straight out of a nightmare for anyone who's watching. But here's where the real prank comes in. The whole thing was staged. A group of pranksters set up the scenario by getting random bystanders to hold the streamer gun and fire it off without them knowing what would happen next. The unsuspecting person pulls the trigger, not realizing that this seemingly innocent moment would lead to total chaos. As the streamer is shot, the bride loses her footing, tumbles off the railing, and chaos erupts. The pranky is left standing there, frozen in complete horror, watching the scene unfold before them. It's every onlooker's worst nightmare. Little did they know, it was all part of the prank. 16. The girlfriend swap. This prank is a masterclass in messing with the minds of the unsuspecting. Here's how it goes down. Our pranksters scope out people just hanging out in their parked cars, waiting for someone, a friend, partner, or girlfriend, to return from a quick stop inside a corner store. That's when the real fun begins. The prankster convinces the person in the car to join in on a little mischief. While their friend or partner is inside, the plan is to have the prankster switch places with the original driver. With the seat swap in play, the car owner returns, expecting to see the familiar face they left behind. Instead, they're greeted by a complete stranger casually sitting in their spot, acting like nothing's out of the ordinary. Cue the reactions. Some open the door and freeze mid-motion, eyes darting back and forth, unable to process what they're seeing. Others hop in, do an instant double take, and sit there wide-eyed, trying to make sense of this unexpected driver. One poor guy is so freaked out, he doesn't even get in the car, just stares from outside like he's stepped into some kind of alternate reality. Flashes a friendly smile and asks a few attendees to keep an eye on his dummy while he heads to the bathroom. Everyone agrees. How hard can it be to babysit a puppet? But what they don't know is that the fun's just beginning. As soon as the ventriloquist is in the which is echoing all the way from the restroom. The poor bystanders don't know if they should laugh or run for it. They're caught in a surreal moment, watching the dummy move and speak all on its own. By the time the ventriloquist returns in stitches, they've been fooled by a puppet with a secret accomplice, and they're never going to look at dummies the same way again. 18. Heads will roll. This prank is all about catching people off guard. It starts with a girl swapped for a real person's head poking up from the pavement. Now it's showtime. The clueless Good Samaritans bend down to help, and that's when the head lets out a spine-chilling scream. The reaction is pure chaos. Wide eyes, shrieks, and frantic steps backward as they try to make sense of the crazy scene. 19. Surprise! I just had a baby. A woman walks into a porta potty, looking all set to take care of business, maybe even a little uncomfortable, pretending to be heavily pregnant. But hold on, what happens next is next level. The second she emerges from the porta potty, the whole situation takes a wild turn. She's not just pregnant anymore, she's holding a newborn in her arms like it's no big deal, casually strolling out as if she didn't just give birth moments ago. You can almost hear the jaws dropping. As if that's not enough, she starts approaching random bystanders, asking them to watch her other child, while she handles the newborn like it's a regular day. The people she asks are in complete shock, trying to process the scene before them. Some are frozen, others can't believe their eyes, and some even try to offer assistance, all while the prankster plays it cool. 20. Strongest girl in the world. This little girl definitely knows how to make an impression by raising more money than anyone could possibly expect. She's out collecting donations with a set of buckets full of coins, and she casually asks random strangers to give her a hand with lifting them. The girl can easily hold her bucket and even shows them how light it is before they start. She even suggests they wear gloves to make sure it's not too heavy for them. But when the volunteers come back to pick up the buckets, they can't even budge them. They try and try, but those buckets are completely impossible to lift. Meanwhile, this tiny, seemingly ordinary girl is strolling around like she's got the strength of a superhero, effortlessly lifting her own bucket with no trouble at all. The trick? The buckets the volunteers try to lift have been switched out for real, heavy buckets while hers stays lightweight. How would you react if you were caught in one of these crazy situations? Laugh it off or lose your cool?